Hey folks, it's Dennis with Aspen Thicket Grouse Dogs. Thanks for tuning in today. Got a special treat for you today. I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot and repair a Dogtra remote system launcher. I've had these Dogtra bird launchers for several years. They've been very, very good to me. And, I ran into a situation lately where one of them wasn't working, and I wanted to send them down to Collar Clinic, but at the time I wanted to do that, unfortunately, I found out that Collar Clinic had closed. Very unfortunate for them. Feel terrible about that. We're going to miss them as a sponsor, but we still have them as our friends, of course. And because of that, I thought it'd be a really good idea to go ahead and just do a video on troubleshooting these and show you how to do a repair if you need to do a repair. In this case, the ones that we're doing here, I was able to do the repair. And I'd also like to, give a shout out to my good friend Kevin Crouch, former owner of Collar Clinic. He actually messaged me and reached out and talked me through a little bit of it. So hope you learned something in this video, and let's go ahead and start the troubleshooting. Right, so here we are. I'm doing a test on these, right? And first thing that I want to look for is these are both fully charged. This is number one. It's fully charged unit, right? So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to set the unit. I'm going to grab my transmitter, set it to number one. First thing I'm going to check is, all right, that sounds a little low. And then I have the duck call. I don't even get a duck call, and it shuts off, and obviously it can't launch. So probably suspecting a battery issue in this one, right? Because that battery dies out extremely quickly. Okay, so now I'll take number two, turn it on. We go to number two, test. Super loud, and the launcher works. So one of the things I can do is I can check to see if it's just battery related for this one, or if it might have something to do other than the transmitters. You can swap these out, right? So this one, we think we have a battery issue, but we want to double check the cable too, because I've been having problems with this one from time to time, even when it was charged. So we hook it up, right? We go to number two, we turn it on, right? That function works. That function works, but we do not get a launch, okay? So perhaps it could be the battery in this one. It could also be this cable. One of the ways I can test that is I can take this cable off, and I can swap the cables from the unit that I know works. Actually, bear with me for a second because I have to take a screw out here. There's a little thing right here. Just want to take that screw out. I actually had removed it on the other one. All right, and then we can go ahead and test this unit by putting these two back on and see if it was the cable. And by the way, these things are covered in extreme amounts of like tar and caulk. So, boom, still works. Go for the launch. All right, so that works really good there. So the possibility I'm going to go ahead and put this one back with its functioning unit. This one itself is a good unit. So we know that the battery works, the cable's good. I'm going to go ahead and remove this one from the equation, and then we'll get to work on this one. Okay. So now I'm back to work on this one. We know we possibly have a bad battery and a bad cable. One of the good things is with DT is you can order from their website. And so I had ordered myself a new cable, and I ordered myself enough batteries to replace everything in these units. But this is the replacement battery pack for this unit right here. And the first thing we need to do is we need to take these screws off of the back. I go ahead and use a kind of like a jeweler's screwdriver set to go ahead and work on these. And we'll go ahead and get these screws out. There's one. Trust me, it's a good thing to have one of these little magnet things handy. That one's out. Not quite out. Boom. Now, of course, when you take these apart, you want to be careful if there's any seal issues. And I'm also going to show you a few methods of how to clean this when we put it back together. Okay, so the back comes off like this. All right, here's your battery pack. That's stickily installed right there, but this has a little plug on it. You pull that plug out, it only goes one way. All right, then you take your battery pack out, put the battery back in, and it only goes in one way, like so, right? I don't have any sticky tape for that, but yeah, you get the idea, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put this together. And when I'm finished putting it together by putting these screws back in it, and what I'll do is I'll throw a charge on it, and then we will check it out with the old cable and then with the new cable. All right, I'm back. This is put back together, and I need to correct an error. This is actually a Dogtra unit. I believe I said DT Systems, which apologize to Dogtra. That was, I used to be a DT Systems rep back in time, and so things change over time, and sometimes we don't keep up with them. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead. Now, I'm going to use the old cable just for shits and grins here to see if maybe it was a battery issue or not. But one of the things I can do to do that, rather than monkeying with that, is I can actually take the functioning launcher, and remember, this one worked perfectly fine previously at all situations. So in order to check to see that other cable might be bad, I can also just, if I want to go quickly, I can just hook it up to the one that I know is working, and then we can go from there. So we'll go ahead and hook this one up, right? And will it work with this system? We go ahead and check. Yes. Yes. And yes. Okay, so we know that this unit, again, is functioning properly. This is the number 2 unit, right? If I turn it on, switch to number 2, we got all the good stuff there. I'm sure the goose is gonna honk, right? And then I can launch it. So, all right, this is pretty good. Now we can just go hook up the old cable and go ahead and test out that old cable. If it doesn't work, okay, then hopefully what we can do is go ahead and put that new cable on there, and that should be the end of our troubleshooting. Now keep in mind, all of this other stuff I know works because I tested it with the functioning unit. So here we go, we're on number 1 with the old cable but new battery. We know on number 1 that this other stuff works, so let's try it. Nope, we're not getting anything off of it, right? Just for sake of things, did we have it hooked up wrong? We'll go ahead and switch it around, which I believe the polarity shouldn't matter on this anyhow. And we have nothing, okay? So now we're gonna go to a new cable. So here's the new cable. Right? We go ahead and test. Everything's on. Guess what? Voila, it works. So we now have a completely functioning launcher. I needed to change both the battery in this one and also the cable was bad. So I'll go ahead and put these back together. It's just a matter of taking this and screwing it up underneath there, making sure the cable's out of the way, and we have effectively troubleshot and fixed the Dogtra launcher. All right, last stop is changing the battery on your handheld. I figure since I got all the batteries here, we might as well go ahead and do it. This is the battery that you can buy from Dogtra. And by the way, most of this stuff that I bought 2 batteries for the receivers, 1 battery for the handheld, and then that the power cable to the motor. I think for all 4 of these pieces, it was about $70 with shipping. So I mean, it's not cheap, but really in the grand scheme of things, it's not all that expensive. Of course, everything's going up nowadays, but yeah. So we're going to take off this back plate using these screws on here. Again, we use a jeweler's screwdriver and go ahead and get these loosened up. They're very similar to the screws that you would find on like your Garmin Alpha or your TT collars or whatnot. If you take those apart, this is very similar. So you want to have this little jeweler's screwdriver type thing here. That dog you see prancing around, his name is Panzer. Panzer is 16 years and 2 months old. One of the legacy dogs here at our kennel. And yeah, he's walking around with a wrap on because he's incontinent, but he's otherwise good to go. Now we want to be careful with this seal in here. You see that little orange seal. And then this one works quite the similar way, right? We have the little connection that you pull out. Again, probably only goes one way. And then we can go ahead, and this has got double-sided tape on it, which is why it sticks. And I actually didn't show it in the other video, but I have double-sided tape as well. And I went back on those receivers and actually put it on so that the receivers would stay in place. So we'll just put some double-sided tape on there. And I never have fingernails to get this done, but go ahead, boom. Probably gonna want it this way, boom. Okay, now this, I spoke about this seal. There's actually grooves for this seal in the back plate. So we're just gonna go ahead and get that back in there. There we go. Put up front. Right, we got that back in there. Again, this only goes in one way, and that's actually with the lip down because the curved portion is on top. And that's in. All right, we keep our seal intact, and go ahead and get that being a little particular with me here. And reason being, oh, this has just got to go down a little bit. That's all. I had to move the battery down a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and put these screws back in here, and then we'll be good to go. One other thing I'd like to talk about is launcher maintenance, and my good friend Kevin from Collar Clinic, he used to run Collar Clinic, and one of the reasons I'm doing this video is because unfortunately Collar Clinic had to close down, and but man, they were really great. You can get yourself some isopropyl rubbing alcohol, right? And then you can go ahead on here and you can kind of clean out all of these spots that your charger goes and whatnot to make sure that you don't have dirt stuck in those. And some of them are a little bit tight, but you know, and be careful that you, of course, don't break your pins or anything in there. And I actually do this a little bit. You can see you're getting some dirt out of that. We get back and get in this one real good again, and doesn't look too bad. I mean, but actually you're gonna get, you know, you're gonna get a little bit of stuff out of there. The key with these launchers is, and these ports over here, if you actually want to link launchers together, you can do that. They make a cable for that, but I'm not interested in it. Take care of these things, and these will last a long time. You know, these Dogtra launchers that I have, I've actually had these, I want to say going on 5 or 6 years so far. So they've held up pretty well for me. And again, basic maintenance like this is stuff that you can do to your things. Like this one has a charging port, right? You want to go in there, make sure that the charging port is clean. You can also, you know, blow a little air through there. And rubbing alcohol is one of the best things to use for this because it dries up really quickly and it's not harsh on that stuff. So, well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that video. You know, maybe you get something out of it if you have a Dogtra launcher. You know, most certainly you can always send them back to the company for repair, but if you're more of a do-it-yourselfer, or if they might be out of warranty, you can go ahead and go to their website and order the parts that were in this video, and you can keep them on hand, and if something goes down, then of course you can fix it. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I ask you to, please hit like and subscribe. Stay tuned to this channel for updates on our Banassa Bonanza, which is our fundraiser for our veterans hunt, and all the other good things we have going on with our partners. Thank you very much. This is Uncle Grouse saying, see you in the aspen cut.